everyone. My guest today is Javier Reyes, if I pronounce it well. I'm sorry if not. But I met him on a boat in Florida this summer, and we started to talk, and in 2 minutes I was sold. So he told me such a good story with such honesty and clarity that I just had to share this with you. Javier, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Peter, and it's a pleasure meeting you again.
Yeah, thank you. Could you please tell me more about LUCA Mining? So what does LUCA stands for? What does the name mean?
So I guess the LUCA name is a very meaningful name for me, and the reason being is because for me it was the way to basically have my legacy for the future. I've been doing mining, Peter, for almost 20 years. And I guess the best asset I have is my experience, which includes a mistake that I've done in investments from the past. And the name Luca comes from two of my treasures, which are my daughters. I have three kids. The daughters are Luciana and Camila, and LU stands, Lu is for Luciana and CA is for Camila. And as you know, the stock symbol is the same. So for me, this has been the most strategic and appealing investment I ever done in mining in such a concentrated way. So for me, it was the way to try to thrive and make this company successful, no? And it had everything it required for me to invest, including the jurisdiction, which is Mexico, and Mexican, as you know.
Yes.
So then I decided if this is my best investment in my career, then I have to have this extra meaning in my life, which is putting my daughter's name and I guess it's going to be my legacy into the future.
Yeah, your love child. Okay, and can you please introduce the team? Because the
sure.
team is.
So I think let me just try to explain why Luca and why I decided to go forward with this investment. So yes. As I've said, I done mining most of my life, no, and my best asset, as said, it's my experience, no, and when you do mining, I think there's several things that you have to focus in order to minimize the risks, right? Mm-hmm. And since this was going to be a very meaningful investment for me, it had to have everything right, and I was just willing to take very few risks. So on the risks I was not willing to take, any, I would say, exploration risk. So I had to start with a big resource. So our combined global resource between the two assets, between Tahuheto and Campo Morado, it's close to 3 million ounces of gold equivalent. As you know, we produce copper, gold, silver, zinc, and some lead. But the combined gold global resource, trying to say here, is that we don't have exploration risk. No, but we do have the possibility of increasing in a very meaningful way the ounces we have on the ground. So the second risk I was not willing to take was the permitting risk. As you know, mining is difficult to get it permit. So you can have very incredible deposits, but then if you don't get the permits, then your deposits are worthless, no? So I was not willing to take the exploration risk. I was not willing to take the permitting risk. And also I was not willing to take the execution risk. And it comes to your question, right? So that means that the team that we have has to have the experience to execute on the strategy, no? So the team we have, I mean, the CEO is a former banker, no? He basically left Stifel to join us, no? a few weeks ago. Actually, while we met at the boat, that was his first week actually. And the reason in this, I guess, LUCA 2.0 in this transition for us was super important, is because now that we probably had figured out and we have been able to grow our production and build our mines, we needed to have a very powerful voice to share the story, no, and a very credible voice. So me and Dan know each other for close to over 15 years, and he had the credibility and the ability to get the story around and bring the institutions in our cap table, no. So we didn't have, as of few months ago, we didn't have a lot of institutions as part of our cap structure. And after Dan joined, I've seen a very incredible change because he's a very credible voice. He's been one of the best mining bankers in Canada. So having him share the story with the institutional market has made a big difference, no? So I think that in the first phase of LUCA 1.0, where we were building and optimizing and growing production, we needed to have more a mining engineer, no? But once we accomplished this phase, now I felt we were so undervalued that we had to have a very credible and powerful voice to share the story with existing and potential investors. So that's the CEO. Then at the board level, we have incredible people. I mean, the chairman, which is David Rhodes, he's the owner and principal for Endeavor Mining, which is one of the most important mining advisors and bankers in the world. He financed some of the largest transactions like Lundin Gold, Fruta del Norte in Ecuador, several transactions related to the Justra family. So he's a very sophisticated, well-known banker, no? Then on the technical side, we have some of the best former Lundin Mining executives. We have Neil O'Brien, which he's a PhD in geology, one of the best geologists that I've met in my career. And then on the technical side, we have Phil Bromit, which he was managing one of the largest operations for Lundin, which is Candelaria in Chile. So then we have like very powerful people sharing the story, but then we have very technical and sophisticated mining guys that can help us take the right decisions, right? Optimize the way we should at the mine level, and then be able to grow our resources, which is where Neil O'Brien is very important. And then adding to these two former Lundin executives, we have the Alvidrez family, which, I mean, Octavio Alvidrez, he is the CEO for Fresnillo. Fresnillo is a Mexican silver producer, actually probably one of the largest producers or the largest silver producer in the world. They trade in London, and that family is part of our cap table. So then you have, because you want to have the best of all worlds. You have to have the non-Mexican mining people, but then you have to have a lot of local intelligence to make the wise decisions locally. So having the Alvidrez family and Ruben as part of our board and himself working in the team allows us to make always the wisest decisions, no? To deal with the right contractors, with the right vendors, to hire the right people, because this family is one of the largest mining families in the world. So also on our VP of technical, he's a former Lundin, which Chris Richens is his name. He's also a very, very seasoned and sophisticated mining guy. And he was with Phil Bromit in Chile, in Candelaria. So he speaks perfect Spanish, like a Mexican. He's an American citizen. So he has the best of all worlds, because as you grow operations locally in jurisdictions we have our own challenges, like Mexico, you have to blend cultures, right? So you want to operate with North American standards, but you want to keep the cost of operating in in a country like Mexico, right? And then having the right blend and the right team is what allows us to, and that what has allowed us to have very good quarters. And now for the future, it's all about optimizing, continue optimizing our two operations, growing production, so increasing throughput, and then finding more resources. So that's like our three things that we're focused. But I think the investment has been the risk, the most that you can ever do in mining. And now the way the macro variables are playing, like the Mexican peso devaluating in a meaningful way, and then the commodities continue going higher, just increasing our margins. And now we have really decided to increase maybe 60% throughput, especially in Campo Morado towards the end of the year, which is gonna help us deliver probably our most record quarter in our history. So Q4 for us should be our flagship quarter. And I think all the variables are in place, both mines producing, ramping up. We are in optimization, and then the macro variables, including commodity prices and local currency, really helping us in a very good way. So again, the only risk that I was willing to take as the controlling shareholder was the liquidity risk. No, when you are a controlling shareholder, you have a liquidity risk, which means that you can invest, but you can't sell until you have a liquidity event, an M&A transaction, you sell the company. So that's a risk that I knew I had to take. But for me to take that liquidity risk, everything else had to be perfect. We have to have really good assets, fully permitted, and being managed by the best team we could afford. So I think if you see the junior market ecosystem, probably, and I'm biased on this comment because of course it's our own baby, I think there's very few companies with this production profile, with this market cap, and such an amazing team. So I think that's what made me be willing to take this risk, and so far has been proven successful, right?
Yes. And I hope the viewers can see now why I was also convinced that we should hear this story. And I see that it is really your life, and you like to talk about it. So I wish everybody would be the same. Okay, and the CEO was then Barnholden.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he started when you and me met back in Boca Raton. So he's been on the job now for, I guess, 2 months.
Almost. Yes.
And we're going to Beaver Creek during the weekend, and we all hope we had a very successful next few days.
Yes. Okay. And there are two main topics what we should still cover. One is what you have, the assets, and the other one is the valuation part, the financial part. You have two assets, right? Could you please explain these two? Why are they special?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it very simple. No.
Okay.
So we have Campo Morado,
yep,
which is a polymetallic asset, and to describe it as simple as I can, it has an in situ investment and infrastructure of close to $500 million US. No, so and that includes 2,400 ton per day plant, which is a beautiful plant that right now we're running under capacity. And as I said, the goal is to increase throughput 60%. It has maybe 45 kilometers of underground development. So it has a beautiful plant, is connected to the grid, which means that we have reliable energy. Most of the development is in place. And where we're focused now on this specific asset is ramping up from, let's say, 1,500 tons per day to north of 2,000 tons per day. The plant has the ability to do it because I guess the plant has that capacity, or the bottleneck was on the mining side. So what I did was bring Comimbi, which is the largest underground developer in Latin America. Of course, is the #1 in Mexico. He does the underground work for the most well-known mining companies in the world. So the largest operations in Mexico, most of the underground work is done by Comimbi. and the owner is a very good friend of mine. So I guess he started maybe a month ago. So he's gonna be the one making sure that the throughput gets to where it needs to be. No. So again, the plant has the capacity. So the bottleneck was basically mining equipment, and this is gonna be resolved just as we brought and as Comimbi is taking on the mining operations. So then I'm very comfortable in sharing that we should be getting north of 2,000 tons per day, which is maybe 60% increase in throughput towards the end of the year. So Q4 again is going to be a record quarter. So Campo Morado has maybe 14 million tons left. We barely do 500,000 tons, so which means that we have plenty of ore to mine into the future. But very soon we're going to start doing exploration. So again, we have an asset with all the infrastructure in place that can super easy increase throughput, no, as we bring more and more mining equipment through our contractor, and then we have the exploration, no. So why I'm sharing these specific numbers with you, Peter, is because the market cap in US dollars is maybe in the 60, it changes every day, but it's in the $60 million range. But one asset has $500 million of US of investment in place. So then the valuation or the revaluation profile is very meaningful, especially as the market realizes the possibility of generating cash flow for this specific asset, which is Campo Morado. Then we have a brand new asset, which is called Tahuhueto. Into Q4 we should be getting to commercial production, which is 1,000 tons per day. Now the nameplate capacity of the mine is 1,000 tons per day. We have the existing capacity in place. So now, as we're commissioning the mine, we should be able to start hitting the 1,000 tons per day into Tahuhueto. Again, a brand new gold asset. Maybe 70% of the revenue comes from precious metals, gold, and mostly gold and some silver, and the rest is zinc. And also it's an asset that has a very interesting exploration upside. We have barely scratched the surface in terms of exploration. We have maybe 800 and something thousand ounces of gold equivalent, and it's going to be, as we start exploration, I think it's going to be very simple for us to start increasing the ounces. So again, two fully permitted assets with combined investment in place of maybe $650 million US dollars, sitting in a $60 million market cap. Into 2025, we should be able to get north of $30 million of free cash flow. So again, the valuation is extremely low compared to the size of the assets and the cash flow that is going to come from the mine. So this year we should be doing close to 150 million Canadian dollars of revenues. Again, in comparison to a market cap, maybe in the 60 million US, whatever, 90 million, 80 million Canadian dollars. I think the valuation is very attractive. So the possibility for the re-rating is there. And I think as we deliver, we just announced a few days ago the Q3. It was a record quarter as well, but the Q4 will be by any means will be the best quarter in our history because we'll have Campo Morado being a very big asset ramping up, increasing maybe 60% throughput, and then our flagship, our new gold asset, is gonna basically go into commercial production, right? So Q4 will benefit from a new asset producing and cash flowing, and a big asset that we have owned now for a few years that is going to ramp up 60%. So I think as we deliver the Q4, investor will realize that we are meaningfully undervalued, and hopefully if the markets continue as they have had the last several months, they're way up. I think we should be one of the top picks in general, right? Also, something very important, as Dan took the reins of being the CEO of LUCA. I think very soon several of the well-known Canadian institutions will start covering us. So I have noticed the I mean, of course, you see the volume of our trading every day picking up in a very meaningful way. Again, realizing that we are a junior mining company, I think our volume is really good. And I think Dan's job has been incredible in sharing the story with the street. So as I said, we're going to be very quick next week, and I think everybody will people willing to take this type of risks in mining. I think we should be some of their top picks, right?
Yeah. Then we'll do the marketing. So you need as well marketing. So yeah, excellent news. And these are the good catalysts for us as well, for the shareholders. And did you mention the revenue will be approximately for this year 150 million?
Yeah,
Canadian?
we should have our revenues for this year. And again, as we just deliver on we announced our Q2, and of course, we're getting closer to finish Q3. So we should be doing 150 million Canadian dollars in revenues. And it's going to be, of course, our record year. And Q4, it's going to be the one which, as we share with the market, I guess people will realize that 2025 will be a year of course, cash flow optimization, and hopefully we'll be able to increase our ounces in a meaningful way.
Yeah, but based on my research, I was still at around 100 million of revenue, but yeah, things evolve quickly. And
so last year we did 100 million Canadian dollars. That's 2023, if I recall right.
Yes.
2024 should be 150, and 2025 should be north of 250 million Canadian dollars. So I think everything is in place for us to achieve those goals. And I don't think there's anything ahead of us that will prevent LUCA to deliver on those results. So as you probably know, Peter, I think it's very important in mining to under-promise and over-deliver. Because in my past that I've been an investor for most of my career, it never happens, right? People always over-promise and under-deliver, and we want to do it the other way, no? And again, I didn't have any bias to invest and take control of LUCA, because when I decided that this was the right part of the cycle to go all in into mining, I could have chosen to invest in any other mining company that is publicly available, right? So the fact that I decided to take this big bet into LUCA was because it had everything in place. It was the right asset in the right jurisdiction at the right valuation, and I was not biased back then on where to invest, because I just wanted to find the best assets, no? So again, I think 20 years of doing mining, and I would say having my best asset, my own mistakes, I think this is putting to the side the mining risk, that when you invest in mining, you accept those risks. I think it has been the risk the most possible, and again, the Q4 is where we'll prove the market how powerful these operations are to deliver cash flow.
Yeah, and you are already cash flow positive. You turned cash flow positive.
I guess we are in that break-even moment, because the gold asset is basically going into commissioning, which we finished construction a few months ago, and now we're going into commercial production into Q4. That's for the gold asset. And for the Campo Morado asset, as we decided, as I shared with you, the plant had capacity for 2,400 tons per day, but we couldn't feed the plant fast enough because our mining equipment was old. So rather than try to continue mining ourselves, we brought in the best contractor in Latin America that he worked with Pan American, with Agnico Eagle, with Silvercrest, with the largest companies in country. So that's gonna he's gonna make sure, Comimbi is gonna make sure we just accomplish the production profile that we need, no? And everything is there, no? The development is mostly in place, so it's just about mining it right and fast enough. So this is a relationship that I have had for over 10 years, and I'm sure it's going to be proven right. So there's a reason why the largest mining operations hire them, because they are the number one, no? And of course the relationship that I had with him makes also a difference, so that he gives us the same treatment as if we were Agnico, even though we are not, no? So I'm happy with that decision.
Okay, yeah, I understand. And this will also decrease your cost per ounce, I mean, because you ramp up production and then the cost will be smaller.
Yeah, I guess
Equivalent ounce.
let me say it honestly, if you ask me, the answer is yes, right? Because we'll be able to mine more efficiently.
Yeah.
And also the availability of the equipment will always be high, no? Because you have the largest contractor doing the mining for you, no? So he has spare parts, brand new equipment, experience. I mean, people that can operate. He has everything that is required. If you try to do it yourself, of course, you need to invest more money. You might have to raise cash. This is going to generate dilution. You have to go through the learning curve. And at the end, of course, if we were the best miners in the world, we probably could do it cheaper than him, right? But since we are not, he can do it better and at a more efficient cost than if we try to do it ourselves. So at the end, when I think about the company, is always how can the share price go higher with the least risk possible, right? Because it's always adjusted for risk and it's adjusted for dilution. So, I mean, at the end, other investors, they need to know that we are fully aligned, right? Because I'm the only one that can't sell, no? So everything that is done so that the company can move forward is gonna benefit every single investor, including me, but I'm the only one that can't sell, right? So, and I think investors want to have a loyal shareholder base that always takes care of them, which means prevent dilution, right? Because as you probably have seen, most of the investors in this ecosystem where you and me invest, they get diluted along the way, no? So at the end, it doesn't matter the size of the market cap of the company. What it matters is the price, no? If you buy whatever for 60 or 55 cents that is today, you want to sell for a much higher price. So then dilution is a big factor on how you deliver on your results. So we are dilution conscious, and we just try to always think how do we make investors money with the least risk possible, no? And again, the dilution factor is always super relevant.
Yeah, and your management has skin in the game.
Yeah, we all have a skin in the game. The new CEO, Dan, he came in when we first had the conversation. He was my former banker. No, he was Luca's former banker. No, a few months ago, Stifel, he was at Stifel, and he was our banker while he was at Stifel. So after I had a roadshow in Europe, when I came back, I said, Dan, I think I need a better voice and a more sophisticated player in the industry to be able to that can share the LUCA story around the world and especially North America, no? And as I was having my conversation with him, and I said, do you know of somebody that can potentially be available, no? And I did share some examples of other successful companies. And then he said, I think I'm interested in taking the challenge, right? And I asked him what were the reasons, no? And himself being a mining banker, he has been offered this type of many times, and he has seen basically everything, right? Because he has been doing mining for 20 years, so he has seen everything, all jurisdictions, all type of mining transactions, and he chose, because I didn't choose, right? He chose to take this challenge because he saw the opportunity to really unlock value, and where we all make money, including him, no? So he, in a combined way, he's gonna have, I don't know, maybe between 3 and 5 million shares he has bought in the market. So I think for me it's very important that we are all fully aligned, and he has, and we all have, I guess, more than skin on the game. We have everything, like all our bodies on the game, no? And I think that's what investors want, that people executing on a strategy have a lot of skin in the game, no? Because then we're fully aligned, no?
Yeah, our interests are aligned. Yeah.
So I guess I hate when people use these companies for lifestyle purposes and they don't have any skin in the game, no? In the case for Dan and me, of course, we have more than the skin in the game, no? We have put a lot of our net worth, we have put a reputation, we have put all our relationships as part of the cap structure. So this has to work. So of course, the only risk that we can control is the commodity risk. We can't control the prices, and I guess country risk. And at the end, Mexico, Peter, it's the most important trading partner for the US, both ways, imports and exports. And I think having the largest country in the world as our #1 trading partner both ways will always, investors have to be sure that the two countries will always make the wise decisions. No, it doesn't matter what's the noise out there, and politicians like to be on the news. At the end, Mexico is one of the most important countries in terms of foreign direct investment, and for a reason, no? Because of course we're part of the North America Free Trade Agreement, and again we're the #1 trading partner for the US. And that makes a big difference, you know, that has to bring certainty to investors, and I'm Mexican, so I know how to navigate those risks, and make sure that they never become a risk. Because at the end, when you work for the community, when you take care of your people, and when you operate the way you should, no, there's no reason for things to go south, right? And again, countries, Mexico is one of the top countries commodity wise in the world. We have mining is part of our culture. So I think as the market realizes that we again are going to deliver an impressive Q4, and that Mexico is open for business, I think that combination and of course the mining market continue its way up, should give us the re-rating we need, and I think everything is in place, right?
Yeah. Since you since you touched this question, the risk question, what could go wrong? I wanted to ask later about your opinion about the risk of Mexico, because nowadays you hear a lot. I hear a lot of bad news or bad talk, negative news concerning Mexico. It's not mining friendly anymore. What is your opinion? The smart money is leaving Mexico. What is your opinion? You told just us what, but anything to add?
I think
you can manage this.
The way I would try to explain it in a more mathematical way is that, well, the new president that is running the country very soon, she is a very smart and sophisticated politician, and she understands that countries need investment to succeed, right? Our public finances are much weaker than they were 6 years ago. And the reason I want to explain it in a mathematical way is that the market is super powerful, so that politicians take the right decisions, right? So as I've said, since we don't have any cushion in our public finances, it means that they have to be more friendlier to investors, right? And again, everything that happens in Mexico in terms of foreign direct investment, it gets ruled by the arbitration panel on the North America Free Trade Agreement, no? So I think even though some of the comments are on the very left, at the end we are maybe center left, no? And I think the country will just continue its way. I mean, even during these 6 years where probably investors felt that we were not pro-mining as a country, anyway, the sector continue thriving, and as a country, we continue receiving some of the largest amounts of foreign direct investment. So I think it can't get worse. If something is going to get better, and we'll see. No, we'll see in a few weeks that she takes control of the country. She takes power, I think, the 1st of October. So we'll see. No, but I have big hopes and expectations, and so far the market has sent the right signals that is going to be for good reason, no?
Yeah. This is how it should work normally. Yeah. Okay. You answered a lot of my questions. I wanted to go back to the production numbers a little bit. Your numbers will be more updated, but what I could see and find is that you have a combined production around 70,000 gold equivalent ounces.
So that's the goal for 2024,
yeah.
And we should be able to hit that goal.
Yeah. And the first question is that this is gold equivalent ounces.
Yes, sir.
So how many % of that is gold and silver and the other metals?
So to make it reasonably simple, 50% of that production profile should be gold, mostly gold and some silver. And the other 50% is going to be zinc and copper.
Okay.
So it's 50% base metals and 50% precious metals, mostly gold. The focus now for the company is making sure that the Q4, we deliver on what we promised. And I think as the market realizes that we did it, then I think things will get better. No, because to get to the production profile that you just asked, there's only two ways. Either we use our own cash flow to expand our operations, or we use money from the market if the price is right to go faster, not to expand faster on the operation. So I think it's gonna depend also on how successful we are in our exploration, which again is gonna happen in Q4. So I think exciting times. Again, you have a fully permitted operation with most of the capex behind and with a big upside, no? And I think in terms of mining, it just can't get any better.
Yeah, and you also mentioned in the presentation that the second asset is similar to San Dimas, which is also a very famous name.
So Tahuhueto is in the same mining district as San Dimas. San Dimas has been one of the best mines that we have had in the country. It's owned by First Majestic. It has produced over 10 million ounces of gold. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be like San Dimas, but I think it's in the right mining trend. There's a lot of visible potential veins that we're going to start drilling. So I think it's going to be very easy to really increase our resource as we start exploration, and I guess that's why Q4 should be very exciting for us.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the news. And so what you shared with us now, it's a great plan. I would be very happy with that if I would be you, but what is your 5-10 year vision?
I would say, Peter, that, and I will try to say as humble as I can, but I think that we are the most sophisticated group operating country on our size, right? Just putting to the side like Agnico and Pan American and these large companies.
Big ones, yeah.
I think we are, because we have the best of all worlds. We have the ability to operate in country, and we have an incredible team with international experience, right? And I guess what I'm trying to say is we are the best to try to consolidate some of the operations that exist in Mexico. As you rightly said, Mexico has sent the wrong messages to investors, no? And that generates pressure on different companies that operate in country, no? And most of these operations are dying for cash. They desperately need to raise money. And I think in our case, we're in a very different position. We're cash flowing, we're growing,
Yes.
and we have a very strong investor base that put us in an incredible position to consolidate other operations at the right price. So I think it's the right price, even though commodities have rallied. These publicly traded companies that have assets in Mexico, they have not. They are dying for cash, and they don't have the cash nor the team to execute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just buying for cheap. It's buying the right asset for the right price, but also being able to execute, no? And I think we have that ability to execute in our own country, no? So and I think that's unique for a company. So of course we're always pursuing opportunities to grow inorganically, and hopefully some of them will be able to move forward and execute, and then we can get faster to being a mid-tier producer.
Yeah, I wish you success.
Thank you, Peter.
And I hope we will talk again, for example, in about.
I'm always available.
Thank you.
Always available.
And now our time is limited. Is there something else? Because we covered a lot, and you told me a fantastic story. Would you like to add anything else?
Well, I guess, yeah, of course, what I want is basically make the story available to as many people as we can, and I think the difference between us and other companies is that we decided to go hard in promoting our story when we could actually say we did, right? We didn't want to go out and promote the story promising that we were going to do something. We wanted to go aggressive on the promotional side once we could say we did it, no? What we promised a year ago, we did, and now it's just about, again, optimizing and increasing throughput and exploring. And I guess I want the market to buy our story, and hopefully your followers will appreciate what we have done. They understand where we are fully aligned as investors, and we'll deliver as promised on a nice Q4. But again, I'm always available to update you on the story, and let's just keep in touch. And if I don't see you in Beaver Creek on my way back, we can talk again.
Okay. I will definitely share this story. So I do my best to help. Okay. Thank you very much. I am delighted that you were here.
Thank you, Peter. Wish you the best, and let's keep in touch.
Yes, thank you. We will do that. Thank you. Success.
Thank you. Bye, Peter.